Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish podcast. My name's Gary, and here I am once again. And today we're going to talk about frauds, okay? We're going to talk about scheme. We're going to talk about dangerous things which you need to protect yourself and your family from, basically, these days. But not any kind of fraud or any kind of schemes, okay? We're going to talk about digital, electronical schemes. In other words, schemes and frauds that can happen to you because of your, or not because, but through your computer or cell phone. So, just as usual, go grab a cup of coffee or beer or water or soda, whatever it takes for you to relax, and join me in this interesting and important conversation, I would say. Lately in Brazil, this, frauding and scheming thing has become a career for many, unfortunately, right? And I would say that Brazil, again, unfortunately, is one of the best, with many quote marks, places in the world for this kind of action due to ignorance. I always say that this is one of our biggest problems in Brazil, but also because of the fact that Brazilian people are quite naive, right? Especially the elderly, for obvious reasons. But that includes us all, okay? As a nation, I think we are people that never never suspect. We're a people who never suspects like evil from happening. Let me just explain it better. When we meet someone, there's even the thing of a lot of people say in Brazil, it's a kind of a cultural thing, like everyone is a 10 when I meet them. And then as days go by and things start happening, I will either keep or drop these standards, these ratings, as the person will make bad things or have actions which I won't consider okay. All right. And I honestly think it should be the other way around. I think everyone we would meet should be 0 at first, right? In terms of our trust, of course. And then as the time goes by, you keep, knowing the person, getting to know the person better, and then starting developing trust, okay? And also, I'd like to say that there is one thing very interesting about trust in the English language, because it has 2 verbs. While we in Portuguese only have one, that is confiar, the verb confiar. In English, the verb confiar can be said trust, of course. I trust you, you trust me, but also rely, okay? So what is the difference? Is there a difference between these 2 verbs? Yes, there is a categoric difference between these 2 verbs. But more than that, this difference makes the whole difference. I don't know, as redundant as it sounds. But what is the meaning of rely? Going straight to the point. Rely is confiar, of course, as I said, but in the sense of the ability of that person, okay? Because one thing is trusting someone, trusting the person is an honest person, is a good person, and other is relying on this person, okay? Of course, you can rely not only on the person, you can rely on things too, of course. But rely is more like this technical thing. No matter how good of a person you are, I don't rely on you to do this, So this is an interesting observation about it. Just because it is a podcast, it is a conversation made for you to practice English, for you to be in contact with the language, and for me to open up my heart and talk to you guys and bring hopefully interesting topics for you to hear and learn something. I follow some Instagram pages that only talk about or mostly talk about frauds, schemes, and these kind of things. Yeah, I really think that falling for these schemes must be really, really hard. I never been schemed. I never fell for any of these schemes, or never had any fraud, hacking, problem with my computer or my accounts or anything. And I believe that this must be related to the fact that I am very careful, or at least I try to be very careful with my passwords, with everything I do, online. And to do that, I follow the millennial and very, very, very useful technique of, quote, thinking as a criminal. Like, let me explain myself. I just try to think like, how could a criminal benefit from whatever the situation I am right now? For example, I go to a cyber cafe and I log in to my Instagram account or even to my email. Let's use the email, which is the more critical one. In my case specifically, because I don't have thousands or millions of followers on Instagram, so my Instagram isn't a good material for criminals, but it could be used. I will paint a picture here right now. But just let me talk about the email. Let's say I go to a cyber cafe and I just use my email. There is absolutely, knowing myself, there is absolutely nothing. First of all, I would think twice before going to a cyber cafe to access my email. Okay, I would only do that if there was a really, really big necessity and I wouldn't have absolutely any other option, which these days is kind of a weird to say, because we have like smartphones. We have our smartphones and we can connect our emails through there. But let's say for some reason I lost my cell phone, my smartphone, the batteries died. So I need to go there, okay? There's absolutely nothing that would make me, of course, nothing in normal circumstances, of course. But other than like me dying or passing out or something at the cyber cafe, there's absolutely nothing that would make me leave that room without logging out. Okay, because come on, like someone has access to your Gmail, and I myself, back in the days when I used to go to cyber cafes a lot. Today, we don't need to go to cyber cafe unless we're players, right? We're video game players. But back in my days, I would have to go to do all these things, when smartphones weren't around, or at least I hadn't one. Anyways, I just, when oftentimes I got to a computer and there was an email or a Facebook page connected, and I would gently and of course humanly just do the right thing, that is logging out, that is signing out, all right, that is putting it down, but like, okay, and I believe that most people would do the same, okay, or at least most people wouldn't do anything. The most evil thing that most people would do would be doing nothing, like just putting it aside and not doing anything about it. So the next person after that person would have to do that, or the next person after the next person, until someone with bad intentions, someone evil, someone criminal would just come in and do what he does the best, many quote marks, as I say. But anyways, so this has been always something for me indisputable, like, to be careful with your email, okay? And why is that, in case you're wondering? That I am and I advocate for people, to be extremely careful with their emails, with their personal or their private emails, because by that a person can have access to most of your apps, okay, most of your social medias, not to say all of them, okay. And what if, different from me, what if you're a person with, I don't know, thousands of followers on your Instagram page, on your Facebook, okay, more Instagram page because Facebook, there's a limit of friends, but anyways, but even if you're a regular person, as far as a social media is concerned, like with only 100 followers, you know, certainly there's family there, there's friends there, you know, and certainly criminals know that. You get it? And what can they do? They just can message, text your friends, and don't make no mistakes. They will know who your friends are because of your interactions. You know, the people who comment quite often on your posting, on your post pictures, you know. And of course, if they even get to have access to your WhatsApp, here in Brazil we use WhatsApp a lot. Boom, you know, they will know. They do. If they have access to your conversations, they will know. Okay. So this is one of the things that made me believe that I am an okay person to talk about it and to give some good word of advice to you towards this kind of a situation. But let me just share with you a situation, the last stop. Okay, this is one side of it. Let me just let me just leave it recorded here. The last part, the final straw, as they say, that made me consider this topic for today's episode. All right, recently I learned of a scheme, of a digital scheme, I'm gonna label it like that really got me worried, because for the first time, because I'm always, as I said, I'm always listening to stories and, you know, following people who talk about it, of stories of crimes, you know, and in all of them I would go like, specifically the schemes, right, the frauds, in all of them, I'm not gonna say most of them, but all of them, I just caught myself thinking, hey, I would never fall for that, you know, I would never fall for it. But this last one, I just caught myself for the first time thinking, wow, I would have fallen for it. I would fall for it. You know, that really got me scared, you know. Let me just share it if you're not aware of that, but let me just quickly share this. So the scheme consists of the criminal sending some money to your, depositing some money via Pix. If you're in Brazil, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pix is a transferation system we have here in Brazil. So someone transferring money via Pix to your bank account and then getting in contact with you right away with the blah 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 of like, hey, I'm an honest person, I accidentally send my money to an amount of money to your account, could you just return it please, oh my god, I really need this money, blah blah blah. Okay, all right, and you just look at your bank account and the deposit was really made, so you really have the money in your bank account. Okay, so what is it that any honest person, honest and with a little bit of heart at least, would do? Return the money, of course. Yeah, that's what I would do, that's what you would do, and that's it. And there's where the criminals win, basically. Why? Because there is this mechanism via our Brazilian central bank that allows us to, in case making a Pix to the wrong account, to have it returned to your account. Okay, of course, provided that the person won't just zero their account. But anyways, I'm not entirely aware of the specifics. But anyways, they can have this money back. Okay, so what happens when you return the money? the central bank does not understand you returning because like there was a say 1,000 reais deposit in your account, and you transfer it back, and you make a, of course, 1,000 reais amount back to to that account. The central bank will not understand that as a returning, okay, money. It will understand that as a deposit, as if you're paying for something for that person. You're paying that person for something. You get it? And then after you do that, they activate a mechanism that the central bank offers, that they can have that return withdrawn, that is pulled back to their account. So basically, there's 1,000 reais in your account. There's 2,000 reais in your account. There's 1,000, and then someone sends 1,000, so you have 2,000 reais. And then you return 1,000, and the central bank mechanism withdraws other 1,000 from your account, and your account gets to zero. So your account goes to 2,000, from 1,000 to 2,000, and from 2,000 to zero, basically. Okay, I think it's clear enough. I think you can get the picture. And that when it happened, I was like, oh my God, we're crossing a dangerous line. Like today, the schemes are getting better and better, and I really believe that the schemes are getting better and better, and will be getting better and better, because the technology will inevitably keep evolving, keep growing, right? And the more technology we have, the more smart people / criminal people will be learning means to dribble, to turn around, you know, these mechanisms, and to use them against honest people like you and me. So what to do to be protected? If you're scared from these stories, and I honestly believe you should, what could you do? What can you do? What should you do to be protected, or at least less exposed to such situations, such criminal actions, situations of that nature? Frauding, scheming, and hacking, okay? Well, to do that, I brought no other than our good old friend, member of this podcast, ChatGPT, to tell me the top 10 strategies or actions that anyone can / should take in order to be protected or to be less exposed to these things. So let's read it. Let's check them out. Let's see what the ChatGPT has got to us. So, word of advice number 1, action number 1: use strong and unique passwords. Create complex passwords with a mix of letters, numbers, and special characters. Avoid using the same password across multiple sites. Use a password manager to generate and store passwords securely. Well, this is so true, guys, because you know that today with computers getting better and better, if your password is not strong enough, hackers won't have a bit of work to get into your account, into your Gmail, okay, into your email. So you better have like long passwords, mixing characters, okay, uppercase, lowercase, dash, underscore, numbers, symbols, okay. You may ask yourself like, oh my God, I don't have good memory. What can I do? First of all, don't accept that. You know, you don't have good memory. Come on, anyone can remember a password, okay? It's just a matter of knowing how to use your memory properly, okay? I'll give you one and perhaps the most valuable word of advice about it. Try to make a sentence that is keen to you, that is familiar to you. Say, for example, the shout out of your soccer team, for example, you know, or a phrase you like from, you know, a poetry or something, or a phrase your mom says, and try to decode it. Say, for example, your your brother's favorite phrase is amazing work, whatever, I'm just making up, okay? Amazing work. So you get amazing, so instead of putting an A, you just go a at, okay? So at M, and then the second A, you go to an uppercase, okay? And then the Z after the A, you go lowercase. And then after the Z, instead of ing, you just put a dash, okay? And then ing, you can inner call like I lowercase, N uppercase, G uppercase, you know? I don't know if you get my point for this explanation, but the more strange the password is, the better for you, okay? Plus, for you to memorize that, it won't be as much hard. Of course, it will require you to have to put a little effort, to put some effort, you know, in it to memorize it. But you can write it down, you know, keep it in a way, keep it in a page of your notebook, for example, that doesn't necessarily say, hey, this is my Gmail password. No, you just put it there and you know that's your Gmail password. I think at least that you can remember. Can you? You know, this is one, and think of more things, you know. Think that your brain is unique. You know, you can do things without other people knowing, basically. So your password should be big, should be safe, and should be memorizable. Action number 2. Enable multi-factor authentication. Add an extra layer of security by requiring a second form of verification, such as a code sent to your phone or an authentication app. Yeah, this is so true, so necessary, guys. Especially for the most important emails you have, you must add a two-step verification, you know, because like someone cracks, and I'm gonna say anything different than cracking. That's exactly what someone can do with your password, no matter how strong it is. But of course, the stronger, the harder for them to do that. Okay, let alone if you have a really weak password. But like, someone cracks your password, they cannot do much because they need to have your phone, you know. So can someone crack your password and steal your phone? Yeah, but you understand and agree with me that it is an extra job for the criminals, right? So it'll be way harder for them, right? So that's it. Action number 3. Keep software up to date. Regularly update your operating system, browsers, and software to patch security vulnerabilities. Enable automatic updates when possible. Yeah, that's true, guys. The more up to date your software system is, whatever software you get to use, the better, the safer. 4. Be cautious with emails and links. Do not open emails, attachments, or click on links from unknown or suspicious sources. Verify the sender's email address and look for signs of phishing with PH, phishing, such as misspellings or unusual requests. This is a very critical and important one, guys. Every time you get an email, especially emails to which you will make some kind of payments, you know, make sure this email is coming from where you think it's coming. Because sometimes, say for example, you think you receive an email from Itaú, from Bank Itaú, all right? And then you check, there's like, you know, say for example, administration@itau.com.br, but this Itaú has 2 T's instead of 1 T, okay? I don't even know if that would be possible, if they would allow, if the internet hasn't already created a mechanism to defend from such attempts. But just take this as an example, okay? This is what they mean when they say phishing with PH at the beginning, okay? This is phishing. They send an email with a parent number, because we don't, truth be told, we don't read properly the email addresses that are sent to us, right? And sometimes they just make sure to change one little thing, one letter, and which changes the whole thing, of course, and get you in trouble. Action number 5, use secure networks. Avoid using public Wi-Fi for sensitive transactions. Use a VPN, virtual private network if necessary. Ensure your home Wi-Fi network is secure with a strong password and encryption. Action 6, install and maintain security software. Use reputable antivirus and anti-malware software. Regularly scan your devices for threats and keep the software updated. 7. Monitor financial statements and accounts. Regularly check your bank and credit card statements for unauthorized transactions. Set up alerts for unusual account activity. This thing of having unauthorized transactions on your credit card, it happened to me a few times, and I actually, quote unquote, lost 2 credit cards of mine because of that. Because like I was constantly checking, you know, I mean, this is a rule for life. You check your expenses. You check where your money is going to. If you don't do that, you're already, unless you're really, really out of the curve, you're really, really, you know, out of the league. Like you're not a normal person. You're a genius. Money flows to you, you know. But that is 0.0001% of the population. I'm not on this group, and probably neither are you. But if you don't do that as a normal person, you're already in trouble. If you're not already in trouble, trouble is coming to you. Make sure my words. So it is necessary, guys. I already talked about it in previous episodes. So you should keep finance control. So by doing that, I was able to, a few years ago, check a few unauthorized transactions on my credit card. And I was like, hey, what the hell is that? This is not mine. I called the credit card company. They cancel that. They cancel that purchase. They cancel my credit card. Of course, they send me a new one. But that's it, guys. So be very, very, very careful with unauthorized transactions. You know, make sure you check them all out. Okay, the best way you can. Action number 8: educate yourself and others. Stay informed about the latest cyber threats and best practices. Share this knowledge with family and colleagues to help protect them as well. Yeah, I totally encourage you to start following pages that talk about frauds and these kind of things, okay? And every time you come across a video, a story or something of a dangerous one, the one, as I said, like, hey, I would have fallen for this one, make sure you share it with as many people in your family as possible. And speaking of people in your family, one word of advice that I believe ChatGPT doesn't bring it in here, but I will do that on his behalf, is that make sure you and your family have code words, okay, or a code word, okay, for every time that someone gets in contact with someone in your family, they like asking for money specifically, or asking for anything like that. Like, you could ask, what is the code word? What is our password? The criminals won't know that, okay? Of course, make sure you don't share that code word other than face-to-face, of course. If you just keep sharing it on Facebook, on your media, on your digital devices, sooner than later the criminals will know the password better than you. So yeah, this is a word of advice, personal from me here. Action number 9: limit personal information shared online. Be cautious about the information you share on social medias and other platforms. Use privacy settings to control who can see your information. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Action number 10: backup important data. Regularly backup your important files to an external device, an external drive, a device, of course, or cloud storage. Ensure backups are encrypted and stored securely to protect against ransomware and data loss. Okay, yeah, this is a more of a, like, if anyone hacks your, because one of the hacking strategies is like getting access to your cloud, to your, the files on your cloud, on your, on your cloud drive, and then blackmail you. If there are pictures of you naked or something like that, even more. But if there aren't, which is the normal thing for most people, I guess. In my case, the criminals wouldn't find anything there of that nature, hopefully. But they can go like, hey, we're gonna delete all these things, and don't try to bluff with them, because they don't have anything to lose. You think like, I'm gonna bluff, I'm gonna go like, hey, you can delete it, I have a backup. They will delete it. They don't have anything to lose. They will do that. So don't try to bluff with them. So make sure you have things on a cloud, of course, cloud storage, but also on a physical device, on a external device. And this is it for this episode. It's a little longer than the usual, but just as usual, thank you so very much for your lovely company. I see you in the next episode of your podcast. This is it for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.